heartfelt welcome to join our Heart Intelligence Ambassadors podcast. We are your Heart Intelligence Ambassadors.
Heartfelt welcome, everyone. It's Monika here.
Hi, it's Liisa here. You're warmly welcome from my side as well. We hope you're well today, and thanks for joining us for Heart Intelligence Ambassadors podcast. And today our topic is taking a leap of faith, trust, and also making peace with the past and self-love as well.
Yeah, so I think that all goes hand in hand, that making peace with the past. We need to find that acceptance and acceptance towards ourselves, I think.
Yeah, that's really big one. Sometimes when we take the big jumps, we get out of the comfort zone and then we take that leap of faith. Sometimes it goes well, sometimes not so good, and we might find ourselves in a situation that it would be easy to judge ourselves and think about that, oh my God, why I was such a stupid idiot, why did I ended up doing this, and look at me where I'm now, and la 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 la. And then it's good to remember that we're just human, everyone makes mistakes, everyone is clearing their own obstacles, their own challenges, and often, even if things don't go as you planned, it's a good thing because it might direct you to a right path in the end. And to be honest, doesn't matter how good your plan is, most likely nothing goes by the plan because that might not be for your highest good. And if it's not, then maybe life takes you somewhere else. And for a moment you might think that what the heck just happened, what's going on? But normally, even it might be something that makes you sad, makes you angry, feels like a huge challenge in your life. But most likely, later on, when you look back, you find out that, well, I learned so much because of this event happened in my life. I actually ended up to this place where I'm now. So our past experiences, our past decisions are kind of making us who we are today.
Totally. And I think like making peace with the past, we have done both like so many great things as well. So, and I feel that we don't even need to make peace with the past. It's just been great things that we both been taking also leaps of faith and really finding trust in that life carries us forward no matter what. But then also comes these decisions that have not been perhaps so smart at the time. And that's the place where it comes in to really make peace with the past. And
I think sometimes you connect it to yourself, you take this leap of faith, you have courage to jump into unknown, but then you may start hesitating. Your fears will come up to surface and you might back off a little bit. And then that flow of energy kind of changes. You may get stagnant. And then, things might change and that might change the path and flow where you end up, how you end up. And that's okay. As said, we're humans and that happens.
Exactly. I think, from time to time I get these really outbursts of complete trust that things will work out just perfectly. It's about 10 years now. I was still working in the insurance company. Totally different what I'm doing now, teaching yoga and speaking about heart intelligence. Then I just got at one point. I just got enough from doing work in the office, and I took a leap of faith. And as I had made that decision, I'm going to do it. It was like universe, life really arranged things in a very easy way for me. So it was actually quite easy to take that jump from your secure income and highly paid, or at least fairly highly paid job in the insurance company, to start being an entrepreneur and teaching yoga. So I was very lucky at that point. My teacher at that time, he moved abroad, and he asked me, there was like, I think 20 or 30 classes available. He just said that pick whatever you want to. And so I did. And I just took a leap of faith and started teaching yoga instead. And things started off very well until my body said, hey girl, it's enough. and my body couldn't take teaching more than 20 classes a week. So
That's heaps.
yes, it is. And my back started to hurt, and I couldn't continue as I had been doing. But at least I took that first leap of faith, and then again I had to rethink. It didn't go as planned, but that was, I think, one of my biggest leaps of faith at that time. What about you, Liisa?
I think I've taken it a couple of times in my life.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, every few years in the last 15 years, I guess.
Yes.
But I think the one was when I walked out of my career job from the really good position in marketing, advertising agency, having that 6-figure yearly salary, everything pretty well on paper. And then I took the biggest leap of faith, because I walked out of the office. I had a place in Sydney where I finally had everything perfect, all my finished design, Marimekko, everything perfectly there. But I decided to go off to traveling for 6 months, and I had no idea like with what money, with where, what's going to happen. And I had a one-way ticket to Helsinki because I had a Qantas frequent flyer points. And I had already, for some reason, I had booked that 6 months before. Even I had no idea why I would go to Finland.
Right.
Anyway, I left my job, ended up going to Finland, and I was like, oh my God, what the heck I'm going to do with my place? Like, I can't just leave it because I'm on a lease and I have all my stuff there. Yeah. So I had friends, a couple who rented out for 2 months because they needed place only for 2 months. So in the meanwhile, I was already in Finland. I had no idea what my plans are. I had decided that I'm going to become a yoga teacher. Yeah. I might go back to business career in 6 months when I come back. I just started randomly booking those flights. Okay. No, actually at that point, I didn't even have any other flight than the Helsinki flight.
Okay.
So I came to Helsinki. I was like, okay, I just trust that everything works out. I had people staying in my apartment for 2 months. But then
So in Sydney you had your people staying?
Yeah.
And you resigned completely from your marketing?
Yeah, I was working as a contractor at that time. So I just technically walked out one day and never went back. And well, that sounds really dramatic. It was no dramas involved, just to clarify.
Yeah.
So I was in Helsinki and I had no idea what's going to happen in my life. I had not that much money. Like I had some savings, but not really that much at all. And I just trusted that everything works. And it did. Yeah. I got my place rented out until Christmas to a Finnish person who moved to Sydney.
Right.
And I found a yoga teacher training. I wanted to attend.
Yes.
And I ended up I was supposed to do a little bit of traveling, do my training, go back home to Australia, continue my life. But I ended up actually to Canada, and that's another story.
Yeah.
But it was the thing. I was like, okay, I just need to get out of here. I need to go for traveling. And I just took that one-way ticket, funnily enough, to Finland.
Right.
And then trusted that everything will work out, and everything did work out.
Yeah. I actually, when you mentioned that one-way ticket, I also had a similar story with the one-way ticket, that I was again in Finland. Was it 2013? And I was kind of fed up even if I was doing a work that I was enjoying at that time. But then in my personal life, there had been some ups and downs, and I felt that I needed to get away. So I took a one-way ticket to, actually also sold my apartment in Helsinki, and then took a one-way ticket to Malaysia, to Borneo, and Kota Kinabalu. And I stayed there for 3 months about, and then I continued to Sydney and stayed there for a few months until life again turned a new page for my life. But Liisa, I'm thinking that these leaps of faith are in a way easy to do, because I think both of us, or maybe I just speak for myself, but inside there's this urge to know something deeper, to know something more, and also to find that trust in life, but really to go deeper and deeper inside in search of something. And I'm not even really sure what that something is. Maybe it's the search for meaning of life, or maybe it's the search for knowing myself, or the search for just more peace in my life. What do you reckon, Liisa, that these leaps of faith really deep inside of you are about?
Well, I think before it used to be kind of restlessness, not being like, I always knew that I want to get out of Finland, because funnily enough, this time when I told this story, I was actually taking one way to Finland, but normally it's been other way around.
Yeah.
Like back in the day when I first moved to Sydney, I took one way to get there. No plans, nothing. And then I ended up building a life there. I did my master's degree there, worked, everything worked out. And then at the time it was kind of leap of faith again when I had lived in Sydney for 4.5 years, and I was working in digital advertising, and I kind of felt that Finland is a little bit more advanced in that than Australia at that time, at least in some extent. And I thought that, maybe it's time to go to Finland for a little bit. And I moved to Finland, got a job, spent like 1.5 years here, or little less, 1.4 months. And then that was another time. Well, for me, it didn't actually feel leap of faith. For me, it felt that I'm just going back home to Australia.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
But it was, I could tell that it was maybe taking other people out of comfort zone a little bit, because they were kind of like, what are you doing? Like, you just got back to Finland. Why are you not staying here? You have a good job and everything. And for me, it was just that urge to get out of Finland. I didn't feel home here. I felt like, I can't handle this place. Even I had really good job. I liked my clients and everything. And that was really nice. But it was just in general something I didn't feel the Finland.
All right.
But I noticed when I decided to go back, I told people a couple of months before, and everyone, well, not everyone, but a few people were like, well, do you already have a job? I was like, no, I can't have a job because I can't physically go to job interviews. Yeah, but do you have a place? And I was like, no, I can't have a place because I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
And I noticed that was really, because as you said, that it's easy for us to take leap of faith. It seems like it is, but for some people it might be a much bigger step to do those same kind of movements. And I think more you do them, easier it gets as well.
That's true.
And you know that things will work out because you just trust that it will happen, and it will.
Yes, and trust builds up as well.
Yeah.
It builds up. And you notice that, hey, I can do this. It's possible. And then again,
everyone can do it.
Everyone can do it.
You're listening to Your Heart Intelligence Ambassadors.
You just have to be willing to let go. Gracefully.
Gracefully. And again, trust that something better, even better, will come along.
Yeah.
Gracefully letting go. Actually, that time when I went to Malaysia, to Borneo, that wasn't perhaps the most graceful graceful reasons, because I was not in a very good place with my parents and my sister at that time. So I was, and actually also my ex-boyfriend had been unfaithful, and I pretty much left Finland with the middle finger waving in all directions. And I thought, no, I'm not taking this anymore. I'm out. So that was like a part of the reason as well. And on top of that, what I mentioned earlier, that this search for something.
Yeah, for something what you don't really know and you can't really explain.
Yes.
And I believe that a lot of people who travel a lot, there are a lot of people, I don't want to generalize or stereotype anyone.
Yes.
But I noticed that from myself. And I believe there are a lot of people with similar in search of something project going on.
Yes.
And it's kind of that you want to keep traveling, you want to explore new places, new people. You don't want to really commit to anything or anywhere or anybody.
Yeah.
You just want to explore and live a dream, go after surf, go after skiing, whatever it is for you. Maybe climbing the biggest mountains in the world or something. You kind of want to get the rush of life or something, and which is great thing. But also if it gets little, how would I say, not out of hand, but if it gets a little bit like it becomes kind of obsession.
Yeah. You get too attached with that feeling.
So then you're
rush.
actually not in peace with yourself anymore. What you maybe are kind of looking in the first place.
Yeah.
Then you kind of end up being really restless, and you, because I recognize that from myself from the past. Like I was changing jobs quite often. Because first, when you get into the new agency, you're like, yeah, this is so cool. So cool people. I love my clients. Everything is great. And then just when you start getting comfortable with that, you in your comfort zone, I kind of start feeling that, okay, what's the next step?
Yes.
And that's crazy. Like, and I think I kept repeating that for years before I kind of realized it. That, and maybe we talked about that in a last podcast, buying things for feeling good and stuff like that, like a nice handbags or new clothing or whatever. That's kind of similar thing. Like I've done that all, like traveled, moved countries, bought things, material things, because you just want to get high of something. You want to feel the life, but then you find out that actually that's not the thing. That's something outside.
No.
Something coming outside, material or the rush of feeling of, yes, I'm going for a holiday next month.
Yeah.
I'm going to travel the world or something like that. And it lasts long for a little bit, but then you find that emptiness inside of you again and you're like, oh, shit, here we go again.
It is really, now when you mention it, it is like that you kind of get the high and then it goes down and you feel just empty inside.
Yeah, because if you don't keep feeding it, you
with
will end up to downer.
Yeah. I remember having that feeling when I had then from Malaysia. I went to Sydney where I stayed about half a year, and I had a nice flat and nice roommates, but I remember like sitting there alone in that apartment because I didn't have a job. I was on a tourist visa, so I couldn't get a job, but I was taking some yoga teacher extra trainings and yoga therapy trainings. And I remember sitting alone in that apartment when my roommates went to work, and I really felt, what the hell am I doing here? Why am I here? What am I supposed to do here? And it was still a search. It was still a search,
And I reckon that it's because you can live anywhere for 6 months or a year and you're still kind of in that tourist mood because you're surely not local.
True.
But then you might experience these feelings. You're kind of like, what the heck I'm doing here? Like I feel like an alien. I'm not part of, but I'm here. And I don't know. At least I feel that since being in Sydney for a couple of years and you really start feeling that you're part of society, you're part of the system, then it kind of gets normal. And then obviously you have that normal life there as well, like everyday life, all those things. Yeah. But that actually felt really nice because that was the place where I loved living.
Yes.
But then I just realized that maybe it's not advertising that for me anymore. Like it had served me for a while and I really loved that job. But then at some point I realized that, okay, now I found the place where I like living, which is Australia. Funnily enough, I'm in Finland right now. But
the other side of the world.
but then still, even I finally had that position I've always been craving for, the salary what I've been craving for.
Yes.
And then I found that emptiness again. And I was like, okay.
Great.
Then I kind of got it. I'm like, okay, maybe it's time to do something else.
Exactly. And sometimes, well, it's really good if you come to that conclusion yourself that, okay, time to do something else, or this is not working anymore. And if we don't get that realization ourselves, usually life helps us to take that conclusion. It really pushes us in another direction. I got a very, very kind of hands-on example on that when I had I stayed in Sydney, and then I traveled a couple of times to Bali to some really amazing retreats. And the second time I traveled back from Bali to Sydney, I was stopped at the border control at the airport, and they asked me to come into some back room and they started asking all kinds of questions, like the border officials, and they just made up their mind. They wouldn't listen to what I had to say. That's how I feel. I was on a tourist visa, and as mentioned, I had done this yoga teacher training, and a part of the training you're supposed to give free classes. So I did with a friend, or was supposed to do with a friend, and I couldn't convince the border control people that I did them for free. So I was out, and I was not allowed to come into Australia again. And again, of course, all my stuff was there. I was like, well, can I not go just for one day to get my stuff? And I was like, oh, silly girl, of course not. And so it was just, I didn't come further than the airport, and then just asked me to take the first and cheapest flight back to Europe. And I went to, I think the cheapest flight was to Frankfurt, and I stayed there a few days. I was wondering what I'm going to do with my life now, because I was planning, I wanted to move to Australia and start studying there again. But, well, life wanted differently.
Yeah.
So these things happen when we are not aligned with our heart, when we are not listening to that guidance inside that says, Monika, Australia is not the right place for you right now. It's somewhere else. So this what happens, that the universe arranges things.
Life and universe are funny buggers. They sometimes make choices for us when we are not tuning in and not listening. And and that's also it's easy to listen your intuition if you align, but sometimes life gets on the way and you're busy and whatever happens. It's easy to let the mind and ego and rational mind to make those decisions for you, and then sometimes may not be the best serving ideas what you get. However, I believe that eventually, even we would do a big round trip, we always end up somehow falling back into track. I'd like to believe so.
I like to believe so too, because it just makes life so much easier, that you have faith in that life actually wishes you well. Life wants what is good for you. You don't always see what is good for you. And so sometimes life just helps us a little bit on the way.
And sometimes also those experiences you find the biggest challenges at the moment. You're like, why the fuck I need to deal with this shit? Like, this is not fair. But often those are the moments when we are pushed back on track. And also when we may have done these error decisions, done something stupid, as we sometimes call things, I think, then it comes like being gentle to yourself and bringing in that forgiveness. So that, like people do mistakes. As said earlier a couple of times, we're human.
Yes.
And humans do mistakes. And that's why we're here to learn from them and try to evolve as a
Totally.
bigger and better version of ourselves.
Yeah, really the soul, lessons for the soul or the heart, and really that helps us to grow, and in that growth we are coming back again closer to ourselves and maybe what we were in the first place searching for, and this really sometimes
and that's the thing, because often you travel the world, you do all the extreme stuff and party hard or whatever it is, and then you realize that like I actually feel the happiest. Well, this is maybe for us, but I feel the happiest when I'm meditating or doing yoga and really feeling that feeling of connection to myself, to my inner self and to my heart.
Yeah.
And sometimes that happens in the nature, like I think surfing, for example, when you're in the water and you duck dive, that's kind of also, and you feel the waves.
Absolutely.
And or you hug the tree or whatever.
Yeah. We all have our own way, and really that says something, that when we really feel most joy, also not like peace, yes, and also joy, I think then we can know that this is a part of what I also came here to do. So it's not all about hard work and we have to be miserable or something, but really what gives me joy.
Yeah,
so
lives should be joyful.
Yeah, also, absolutely.
Yeah.
So really taking time for what gives us peace and joy. I think it's so important.
And because when you start doing those decisions, you start acting from that state of awareness.
Yes.
State of peace and
joy.
Yeah. Things will actually get the flow. They will start unfold really easy.
Yeah.
And when we try to push against something, like we all know how fucking hard that is.
Yeah.
Then again, making peace with the past, coming back to that theme, I think that the only way to kind of let go is, of course, maybe sit with it, whatever it is with you, like what you feel like maybe you regret or you feel that something didn't go exactly by the book. And so just sit with it, but don't stay dwelling with it. Just sit with it, take your time, process it, and then try and let it go. And most likely be gentle to yourself.
Yeah.
And kind of think about it with love and everyone involved, with the energy of love, because then it's easier to forgive yourself, but everyone else involved, and kind of release that energy from that event as well.
Yeah, and it sounds a kind of easy when we spell it out like this, but we all know that it can really take a freaking long time to forgive yourself for some things that you've done in the past. For instance, I've been unfaithful to my ex-husband, and it ended up in a divorce. And it took me a long time to forgive myself for that and really find more compassion and understanding for myself, and to see from a broader angle that why did I do the way I did and what happened. And of course, in a relationship, you're always two. So, but not blaming anyone, not even blaming myself, but really trying to understand why did that happen, and at some point then, yes, really come to that conclusion that we can have compassion towards ourselves. It's so important to really come to that conclusion, because it does not serve anyone to keep on banging your head in the wall for years after years. Really, it's so important to find that softness, understanding, forgiveness, compassion towards ourselves, because we all have the right to heal. And in that healing, we also grow as a human being. So it takes time sometimes.
Yeah. And sometimes it's funny because it's so much easier to forgive to someone else than it is to forgive to yourself.
Really?
even
Really?
you first have to be able to forgive to yourself that. It's not easy. Yeah, it's easy to talk about it. It's like, yeah, just let it go and everything will be fine. But yeah, for real,
Yes.
it's not that easy. But we can all together support each other's, and
Yeah.
you just have to work on that. It's the practice. It's like practice of everything. Like you won't become the world's best mountain bike rider if you don't practice daily basis. So it's same within the inner peace and meditation and
Compassion, forgiveness, understanding.
heart intelligence.
Yes.
Yeah.
It takes practice.
Yeah.
You're listening to the Heart Intelligence Ambassadors podcast.
And Liisa, I've been thinking about this because you've helped me very much on my own journey. We've known each other now for, is it maybe
Less than 2 years.
less than 2 years?
Yeah, less than 2 years.
And
Year
we've
and a half.
become good friends, and I'm very grateful for our friendship.
Me too, thank you.
Yeah. With the help of you, I really feel that healing happens when we dare to be open with those deepest wounds that we have inside of us. When we dare to step out in the open and say, hey, yes, I was unfaithful to my husband, ex-husband, and this is what happened. So when we dare to own what we've done and at the same time find that compassion and that's understanding towards ourselves, that's when healing happens, when we don't have to hide it anymore inside of us, when we can let it out in the open. Everyone does not need to go and start a podcast to open up all what's inside, but it's enough if you find someone to share it with. It can be a good friend, it can be your partner, it can be like a psychiatrist or something, but if you can
absolutely.
just open up that.
Yeah. And there are a lot of people who hold on to things and they feel shy and scared to open up because we all, I don't know, maybe it's society or I don't know if it's just Finnish people or something. I think it's the whole world, matter of what culture you're coming from, but it's that kind of shame and this is so embarrassing, like my God, I can't tell to anyone.
Yeah.
But as you said, healing starts when you actually open up and first admit it to yourself.
Yes.
And then talk about it. That's when the healing actually starts.
Yeah.
And it might also starts the healing for everyone involved in a situation as well.
That's what I really feel and that's why also a part of that, I think it's so important that we dare to speak as openly as possible, of course, to people that we trust. Because you become very vulnerable when you open up those wounds.
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
are like an open wound in a way. But I strongly believe that the more that we dare to be open about what we really carry inside of us, the more healing will happen in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's amazing how everything is collective. I think we talked about this last time, but if someone somewhere didn't say or do this, maybe someone else somewhere else wouldn't do something else because, we have a social media, we have an internet, everything is spread out quite quick and wide.
Absolutely, yeah. So it could be just one person. It's enough to speak up and stand up and be courageous.
And encouraging through their actions to other people to open up and start process of healing.
Yes, and we all can do that.
Yeah,
we just need a little bit of courage first.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
and as you said, people you can trust.
Yeah.
Around you and leap of faith, courage. When you land on your face, get back up, sit with it, admit it, be real, and then deal with it.
Deal with it, and not run away. Like I think part of it is that also with that all the traveling also has been a part of it, has been running away from the hurt inside.
Yeah.
But it doesn't work.
It's easy to run away. You can well, I possibly am master of that, like running away for work, like working
Yes,
so much that I don't
Yeah.
have time to process and think about things,
Yeah.
or traveling or anything. Someone goes into sports, crazy, do those.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that it's only why you go and climb the mountain or something. That's
No.
amazing that someone goes and
Yeah.
does that, takes a leap of faith to,
Yes.
you know, physically and that. But there are a lot of things we can do to avoid dealing with ourselves, because most likely whatever is going on in our life, and we sometimes find it painful to deal with other people because it's maybe scary, you're out of your comfort zone, you're afraid of conflict or whatever are your reasons. But most likely dealing with ourselves is the hardest. Again, it's hardest to forgive to yourself. It's hardest to deal with yourself.
Yes.
Let those things come up to the surface because they might be painful.
Yes,
But
yes.
that's the start. Kind of be real within yourself and make some room and time for yourself to actually listen yourself. Because when we're really busy, we don't have that connection. We lose it.
Yeah.
So taking time to connect to yourself first and then deal whatever shit comes out.
Yeah.
Things will always work out and you can always talk about things, and even the outcome wouldn't be what you wish for at the moment. There still will be an outcome if you just open and talk about the things. And
maybe even just got an idea that maybe even you can start, if you don't feel ready yet to speak with another person about what you've been through. Maybe you can even start by having a journal and taking a pen and some paper and just start writing slowly. Yes, this what happened, and dare to face it and see what you've been through.
Yeah.
And all the time, really, please remember that compassion.
Yeah.
Remember, no matter what you have done, no matter what you have done, each and every one of us deserves healing and forgiveness.
Absolutely. And some love.
And love, absolutely.
And yeah, that's a good idea, as you said, that you can write letters to yourself, you can write journal and just let it come out. Doesn't matter. Just write whatever comes out.
Yeah.
And that sometimes helps. Like if you digesting something and when you write it out and like, okay, I feel so much better now.
Yes. Sometimes I start to write poems. Most of them I keep just by myself because they are very, very, very personal. But that's also a way when I sit in the middle of a very difficult feeling, like sadness or usually it's like sadness or just really something very deep inside that I start to write a poem. And then I feel already better.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
And you gotta pick what's your medicine in terms of healing and starting the process. And it's, I guess it's the most important thing to actually let those things come up to the surface, let the process begin. And then who knows where the life will take you after that.
Really? I remember when you say that, let the process begin. It really is like the metaphor when you have Pandora's box and it's locked up and you don't want to look at it. And then something might happen in your life and you are forced to look at it. It's like all just popping out in the open. And you might, that's a place where you easily might lose your balance. It was some years back, 10 years, I think I had a miscarriage. And that was for me the moment when that Pandora's box was forced open. I didn't want to open it, but it was forced open, and I didn't have any other choice than to start looking closer at what I had been through earlier in my life and as a child. And that was also the point where the healing started.
Yeah, that's good. So let your Pandora's box to open if you feel the calling.
Yeah. because we can do it by ourselves and just be honest with ourselves to open it. And okay, let's start to see what's in. We don't have to deal with everything immediately.
Yeah.
And at some point after that miscarriage, I also went to therapy, I think therapy sessions for about a year, just to get some help to deal with what I had been through. And you can just take a little pause from that as well. Okay, like for Christmas time, I'm not dealing with this shit.
Yeah.
I'm taking a piece
Yeah.
of like a little break from that, and then I can come back again and look at it deeper. But yeah, what I actually wanted to add that sometimes life really can bring us all kinds of things that we are forced to look inside, and it can be that we like something external happens, like you get a miscarriage which you cannot control, or you might get some illness, or you might get problems like with your job and finances, or maybe someone that's close to you gets an illness, or even worse. So those are all these really harsh, actually, invitations to start looking deeper inside.
And unfortunately, it most likely happens when you have been pushing away all the signs.
Yes.
That, like, for example, myself,
Yes.
like working myself into burnout. I've been pushing away all the signs that are trying to gently tell me that you're going too fast. Just please slow down. I was like, no, I can go even faster. And thank God I did then eventually wake up, because sometimes that happens, that you just keep pushing, and whatever happens, how our body works, like if you give it a little bit of rest, it kind of seems like it's back to normal, and then you keep going. But the same cycle kind of works and comes back, and then eventually you actually might end up getting really sick, because your body is constantly on the stress, like a stress, stage.
Yeah.
Like if we start talking about sympathetic, parasympathetic nervous system and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So when you run on sympathetic side all the time, your stress level is high, your cortisol values are high, and then you have a little rest, your body thinks, okay, I'm fine now. And then you go again. And eventually all that energy, physical functions, whatever, might even lead you into cancer or something like really bad.
Yes.
And that's so sad, because that's only because we are not in line.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe I'm too much of a hippie or something, but I believe that if we are fully in peace with ourselves, if we are fully aligned physically, mentally, and in our heart, we cannot really get sick.
Yeah.
Like obviously you need to look after yourself. It's not only that you meditate that will keep you.
No.
Like it's the whole combination of the physical, mental, psychological, spiritual bodies. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Look after yourself, everyone, in every level.
In all levels, absolutely. And I think maybe the theme running through this discussion is really that becoming a little bit softer with ourselves.
Yeah.
More allowing, and to really finding peace inside is to first dare to look at what's inside and allow yourself to heal.
I think allow the connection within our self, our higher self, and our heart to be open, because so that we stay aligned, so that the physical, mental, and spiritual bodies are aligned.
Yes. And I think actually now when you mentioned that maybe like more than 10 years ago, I wasn't so much aware of this spiritual side at that time. But then when life forced me to open that Pandora's box, that's also when I feel that actually I also started yoga about that same time, practice yoga at that same time. So, and it opened up the pathway for me to explore my spiritual side also deeper. So maybe, so we might not have that one part. We might have take care of our physical body. We might take care of our mind. But then something is also calling us to find that heart connection and the spiritual connection, because we are spiritual beings having this human experience, not the other way around. So for really optimal health, then we need all those what you mentioned.
And often, as you said, something huge has to happen before you start opening up and listening yourself, and then slowly it might build up. Like you first start your yoga practice, then you start meditating, then you actually get more into eating healthy, and then it builds up.
Yeah.
Or for instance, I think for other people it happens when they start getting into healthy diets, maybe getting into vegan or vegetarian food. Like even diet can change your energy that much that you start opening up. And that's really important because the food is energy, what you put into your body. But can be anything, and we all have it. Like we all, as you said, are spiritual beings, and we just have to listen it and let it open up.
And to just know, maybe for now, just acknowledge that we are this six sensory beings, and we have a spiritual side to us. We have the higher consciousness, pure consciousness within us. We have our heart's intelligence, and we have the light inside of us. And really,
not to forget that we're also having a physical experience in a physical world. So just let's enjoy it with the joy.
Yes, very well said. Thank you, Liisa.
Thank you.
Okay.
And if you would like to share your own experiences, or just drop us a line, let us know how you're feeling.
Yes.
Please feel free to do so. You can drop us an email or
contact us on social media.
Yeah.
And maybe that also can be your, we can be here for you if you want to start your own healing journey then, and you feel that you want to open up about something that you've been carrying inside of you, then we are here with our listening ears. So you're very welcome to do that if you feel the calling.
Yes, absolutely. And you can find us from Facebook, Instagram, and looking forward to hearing back from you soon.
Thank you so much for joining.
And take care, and we'll speak to you soon.
Okay, kisses.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you for joining. Find us on www.heartintelligenceambassadors.com.